We got a restored replay for us here. sillySeth versus Allouition. sillySeth in teal playing as the Chinese, and Allouition in orange playing as the Franks. This game, it's been decided. We know the ending already. We're like rewinding into the past. But if you haven't spoiled it for yourself yet, I won't spoil it either. If you're rewatching this whole thing in 2030, you've just stumbled across this this amazing content. You're rewatching it in order. We have something interesting for us here. sillySeth, highly favored player overall, but Allouition possibly even more highly favored, as we see him microing one sheep at a time under the TC. The classic pro gamer move. Interesting to see him pick French here. I don't know what was banned, what was picked. I'm not going to look back at it now. But he's been branching out this year. Allouition, formerly known as a pretty heavy Japanese goth spammer. Maybe we'll see some Frank Knight spam instead. I don't know. We'll see. He's been impressing me with his diversity of civ picks this year. sillySeth, the Chinese. I don't think the Chinese have done too well overall in this event. We'll see how they handle themselves this time around. Pretty much an archer civ with a very strong economy, late game technologies. If I'm not conflating the age 4 Chinese information that I have in my brain with age 2 Chinese. We also see some sheep scouting, looking for that wood line. I was gonna go for the side wood line, a little bit further away, but it's a little safer. Do I hear somebody in the chat, or is that just my brain playing tricks on me?
Hello, Tyler, T-Bird, can you hear me?
Hello, hello. You're very quiet. You're very quiet. I have you maxed out too. You may have the wrong microphone selected in Windows. Not too sure.
I got a new pair of headphones, and they're apparently the microphone is like late.
Yeah.
I guess I need to get some speakers like that then.
Yeah, this is like I can't hear you at all, so
I'm so sorry.
maybe in Windows you can like turn it up a little bit. I don't know.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay. For the meantime, these early build orders. 3 on wood for both. These are both pretty much the most meta. Well, I don't know about meta, but most like solved player. That's a good way to say it. Some of the most solved players that we're gonna see this game or this this tournament. They know what works. They know what to do most of the time. They have their things figured out, planned out. Hopefully we'll get Ravenwolf in here. I guess I could turn up the audio in OBS, but I still won't be able to hear it at all. So maybe I'll figure out those Windows sound settings. We got one villager. Okay, it's just going to be a boar. Second boar for Allouition. Here's a second boar for sillySeth. This is actually looking very much mirrored. And the map, by the way, is Arabia. Picked by sillySeth, the lower seed. That much can at least be deducted without looking at any stat sheets. Allouition, I don't know which maps he banned, but here we are. sillySeth looks like he's kind of posturing for a bit of a house wall up the side. Arabia, actually, contrary to what you might think, is definitely a map that is wallable. It is wallable. You just got quite a few spots that you gotta look out for. So. See how it goes. Idle TC time, interesting stat here. Chinese are a lot harder to handle in the early game. One of the hardest starting civs, like early game civs, because you start with 9 villagers, I think, maybe 7. I think it's 7. You start with 7 villagers, but you start also with like 100 less food, maybe even less food. Listen, if you're here for age details, well, tonight's not the night. But that means that it's hard to keep the TC working. You really have to adjust your build orders. It looks like sillySeth struggled a little bit with that, but it has not ended up with an economy disadvantage, at least for now. But that idle TC time is, like, that's the reason behind it. More villagers to start, less food. So, We have some villagers now moving to gold as we see Allouition probably about to click up. That's like the next item on the checklist here. sillySeth actually already halfway there and moving into farms. And here's the barracks too. Okay. Allouition going for a little bit of a run by with the scout. What's the scouting like for these players? First year, but I don't know if I've mentioned this yet this year. First time we've done one of these tournaments that has not been unexplored. If that helps you place like the level of experience of solvedness, like I mentioned earlier, that we're working with here in this group, in this community, that's what we get. But we are gonna we have been making players actually explore the map themselves this time around, and I think it's led to some interesting shenanigans. sillySeth is going for the full wall up on the south side with that barracks, a couple houses. Allouition not really leaning as much into that. He has been oftentimes the more aggressive player, so he hasn't needed to defend quite as much. And as the Franks versus the Chinese here, probably going to happen again. We'll see most of the action taking place on the enemy side of the map for him. There is a gap on the bottom here. There's a one-tile gap for sillySeth. I hope he sees that because it could be a little rough. And, yeah. So, couple of cliffs on the north side, nothing too crazy. Resource distribution as Allouition now reaches the feudal age. sillySeth clicking on that double bit axe. It's looking like a little bit of a danger zone on the gold for Allouition. Safe stone, and the wood is like pretty okay. I guess you could range over the top of most of these wood lines if you got archers with the right upgrades. sillySeth kind of reversed. Safe gold, danger stone. The stone actually could form as wall on both of these stone mines. But, alright. Here's a stable for Allouition. I think he's got some idea, at least, of what the Franks are all about. And we do just see some random units being rallied forward just to create a little bit of pressure. As well as a worker going down for sillySeth. I'm not sure if that was just a builder that was found out, that was caught out, or if that villager was moving forward to create some kind of aggressive building. But we kind of have a scout rush now for sillySeth with these stables. Allouition maybe has decided he's getting some scout cav out of his own as well, but he has produced some spears. We look again at this fog of war. Allouition definitely now sees, okay, my enemy is going for a scout rush. And so he's probably going to lean heavily into the spears at this point. Or at least more heavily than otherwise. Let's have, yeah, okay. 2 spears out, 2 more on the way. Let's see if these 3 scouts can get any damage done for sillySeth, or if he just wants to use them defensively. Definitely playing more defensively, sillySeth, as he's almost entirely walled in. He has found that gap on the south. We just have a little bit more to go with the gate, and some more palisades, maybe a house down there. But I'd love to see sillySeth maybe run these guys around the back. Let me see what his vision is over here. I don't know the hotkey to switch civs. Actually hasn't scouted his enemy's base. Okay, so that's probably what's slowing things down. If I had to guess. Now we have 5 scouts out. Would be an incredible run across into the enemy's eco here, but we'll see what happens here. He's going to move forward a little bit. The spears might scare him off, though. Villager count right now, 33. Idle TC time has gone up a little bit for sillySeth. Actually gone up for both, but it's pretty much even since last we checked it. And Scout Cav just passing in the night for both players. I've never seen Arabia as these little gravestone crosses everywhere on the map. It's a fun little detail we get in the HD edition, or in the definitive edition. Villager on the wrong side of this house might get picked off here. Seth is going to try to get this. Oh no, rip villager. Wait, There it goes. But the walls are completed for sillySeth. Allouition definitely more exposed at home. You're exposed anywhere. That's where you want to be exposed, I guess. Anyways, yeah, we do have a lot of farms. Actually, for both players, Allouition with the farms around the mill too. How many farms are we talking here? We got 15 for our orange player. We got 14 for our teal player. Again, kind of mirrored in a lot of ways. Both of these players definitely know what they're doing. The raiding, though, is going to make a difference. Spearman out for Allouition on the wood line. Going to defend, going to kill some scout cav, but I think we'll get a few villager kills. 2 villager kills now. Eco KD is 3-3. Overall KD 5-7. So damage done, but it's still fairly even. And it looks like this gate was opened. Oh no. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Lock this gate. Lock it right now. I think he might even be rallying the TC to the gate. And so they're just walking over there and standing there automatically because he wanted the next villager he produced at some point to finish building the gate. Oof. Anyways, what else we got? Looking at the villager distribution resources right now, Allouition has a lot of gold. Only 4 on gold right now, though, so I think that's just because he's not producing gold units. It's just kind of building up there. Food being drained a little bit by scouts. Probably he's going to go Castle Age basically now. Making some more villas will slow it down a little bit, but you got to do it. And we have an archer pivot. sillySeth. I mean, he sees a lot of spears for the enemy. Allouition thinks that we're just dealing with scouts, maybe overcompensating with the spears. This archer, a lot of times in Age, it can be a good idea to like hide your strategy from the enemy as well. So sometimes we see players. Hello.
Tyler, can you hear me?
Yes, you're actually very loud now.
Tyler, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, text and images.
User volume.
Losing my mind over here.
100%. There we go. Let me know when you hear me, Cam, because you sound fine now. You sound crisp. Like I was saying, sometimes it's a strategy to hide your next move from your enemy. This time, the forward archer ranges mean that Allouition's going to know exactly what's coming next. So we might see Castle Age into Knights. Cameron is like 90% of the way to joining us here in this exciting game. He will definitely be here in the next few. I'm gonna hope. Tower for vision from Allouition, a little bit of control there, and the unit count is definitely leading Allouition right now. We've got 1 man-at-arms, some spears, some little bit of everything for sillySeth, and archers on the way. I like the archers, but they're gonna need to have a front line, and they do.
Tyler, can you hear?
Yes, I hear you, Cam. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Incredible. And actually, you sound amazing, by the way. You sound so
Yeah, good. My friend is letting me borrow his microphone, and it's
okay.
Like a really good one.
You know who Caleb is. You don't have to say my friend. You know who I am. You know who I am. You know who I am. You know
Hey,
who I am, right?
if you don't know who Caleb is in this stream, you better learn fast.
Is that T-Bird
Tyler? That's right. It's
Yeah, that's
Tyler.
me.
I love you, Tyler.
Thank you.
All right, where are we at? So we're getting a.
Let me get the stream going in here for you.
All right, so I can catch up here. Excellent. Look at this.
There it is. All right. Yeah, so sillySeth versus Allouition. This is an old archival, like restored replay. Love to see it. We're able to actually watch the game now.
Okay.
Just glean a little bit of these players' strategies. But so far, it's been Allouition on the offense. sillySeth walling up pretty effectively.
And where is this in the tournament? Obviously, the AOE2 tournament is over with, but where is this in the...
This is, I guess popping this bracket up right now spoils the entire thing, but too late. So sorry. This is 16.1, so that quarterfinal, or that semifinal, Allouition versus sillySeth on the top.
Okay.
I unplugged and replugged my Stream Deck's chat, so now it's actually working. I could use my buttons again. It was lagging out completely earlier. But, okay, a few scouts around the side for sillySeth. Tried to go for a scout rush early on, but, well, he got a couple picks in the wood line, and that's about it. Allouition kind of saw it coming with some spears. or defense as well. But
interesting. Both
it
players
looks like
already
Seth has
getting ready.
actually got the more effective army right now. Allouition's going to be scared of these archers. Both going Castle Age at basically the same time.
And both players, yeah, I was going to say they're both heading into Castle Age right now, so they're both going to be okay. So we got a little raid going on by Seth over here, getting those villagers off the wood.
We do have forging now,
Housing.
so these scouts will be damaging.
Does
Got
take
another
one
pick.
down.
Eco
So
KD
Allouition
4-5.
is responding to this.
Allouition going to pull the whole army back. Okay, like half the
Oh,
army.
interesting. Okay, so I think he's going to be able to get these archers. So sort of a, well, we'll see.
Looks like that was
But
a
I
pretty bad
think-
engagement for sillySeth. You want to keep the
Yeah.
range with those
Yep,
archers, but they were right on the front line.
So Allouition does come out on top of that. How are those scout calves doing in the base? Are they some more raiding going on? He loses 2 of the scout calves. Not sure if he got any. Oh, I think
he got one more kill, so it's evened up the eco KD right now.
Yeah. Nope, and he's gonna lose this scout calf. Forgot about it.
He's getting chased down there. And yeah, we've got Castle Age coming through for both players. This is really when I think both of these civs start to shine a little bit more. I think we might see some Zujinu from our Chinese player, Chukonu. And I don't know if Allouition wants to switch into Knights at this point. As the Franks, that's sort of what you might expect, but also he's got a lot of man-at-arms right now. A lot of spears too, but I'm going to assume we see no more spears being produced. Skirms as well. It's just kind of a game of counters right now. sillySeth, more archers. I think that's the right move for what he sees on the field right now.
So from what I've seen so far, no major engagements, just some small back and forth. Not a bad thing. You know, just getting a little poke in, figuring out your opponent, what it is they want to do. Seth just kind of.
Seth might
seems
go
to be
fast imp here. He's 1,000 food in the bank.
Okay, so yeah.
Allouition with the by far the definitive army right now.
I was gonna say he's definitely got more military units than Seth does, but again, that doesn't necessarily make or break a game. It can, depending on how it's played.
Ooh,
But
it looks like the game is kind of getting a hold of sillySeth right now. He's getting that idle TC time up a little bit. Fall behind on the villager count, 8 minutes to 3 minutes on that TC time. He is gonna drop a second TC, probably more quickly than Allouition with 1 villager down here. So that'll help a little bit if he can keep him working. But here are the knights for Allouition, and that's going to be a little spicy. Because all we have is archers from the other player. And if I know my rock, paper, scissors, these guys are going to be
and a
for
forward
world of
castle
hurt.
by a forward town center by Seth. I thought it was a castle,
And
but
actually,
not a.
making the right decision here.
And the
Third
second
town
town,
center
and
as
the
well.
third town center off to the side. Not a bad call. There's some ibex and wood over there for him to take advantage of. So he definitely, good idea to expand out. I can't help. And a castle going up right in the middle. That's a good forward castle. It's going to give him some cover for his base.
So I like all of the map posturing and
Yeah,
building
I think it's
placements from
good,
sillySeth
yeah.
here. The units are not good. He needs to build more units.
Yeah. So that
Allouition
castle
is great at just
that castle needs to go up.
getting
a
that mass
lot.
out.
Yeah, that
He has-
castle needs to go faster.
Allouition is basically every unit in the game that you can build right now, which is really something that cannot be said for the other player. Now, this isn't necessarily a good army, but it is a big army. So, you know, the military count 42 to 20 right now. If there's a fight, Austin wins. That said, Allouition does tend to like to take things late game and make sure he's on the right footing before smashing the enemy in one final punch. So we'll see how that goes. How the decision making takes place. Iron casting for Allouition to be the second melee damage upgrade. And the castle's here for sillySeth. So it's going to be a while before this game gets decided, I think. After this this game, we have one set to watch. We have Squeaky G versus the Alchemist in the King of the Losers bracket, and then we'll be done with the stream. So, is the stream deck a separate piece of hardware? Yes, it is. It's a little box with some buttons on it. Dare I do this? No. Hey, look at that. You could program them to be whatever you want. I've got things for scenes. I got a few pop-ups here and there. Very useful for streaming. Useful for just everyday whatever. I'm not trying to sell a stream deck right now. Anyways, back in this game, we do have Chuko new. And these guys fire multiple shots, 2 projectiles at a time per volley. But Allouition is moving forward with skirmishers. He's gonna be in for rude awakening with this castle.
Gonna find this castle, yeah. So
no ballistics for sillySeth, it looks like. So these arrows are not necessarily, well, I don't think there's ballistics. I didn't see it come through. I was talking about a stream deck.
I'm not interested. Okay, so Seth is
He's catching up on
those
build
units.
count. And he's also
Seth is
pursuing
those
with
units.
crossbows. This is not a great
not-
unit composition, but he's got the numbers obviously there.
Yeah, I'm not
However-
sure. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure he actually wants to chase. Okay, he's really committed to those. He really
Looks
wants
like
those
he's
units
going to be
gone.
caught
Okay.
out unless he pulls
Yeah.
back to the castle
Yeah,
now.
he needs to
The
pull back
knights are
right-
moving.
Yeah, he's moving right now, so he has to get those guys back as soon as possible.
This is going to be close. Allouition
think-
doesn't know that they're not here anymore. He's moving to where he last saw them, so I think they'll
Yeah.
escape. But
Yep, they're in the
Very
clear. They're
s-
fine.
spooky moment there for
That
sillySeth.
was close.
And I don't think
That
he
was a
knows
close
how
one.
many knights or even what unit composition the enemy has right now. I think he
Yeah.
might even just move out. I'm not too sure. But
Yeah,
Archers Knights, you know, we
I
saw
was
it.
just thinking, Allouition can look for another angle of attack for this base because again, he doesn't. Like again, there's some villagers out there that he can pick off. He does have vision on that relic right there, so he can definitely take advantage of another angle if he scouts a little bit more.
Yeah, like I was saying, economically, I absolutely favor sillySeth right now. He had a little bit of extra TC idle time, but he's got 3 town centers, he's got to keep up, like, all the positioning is great. The military numbers, military units are 100%
Okay, so I think he's gonna
Allouition,
he is gonna see.
Looks like he's gonna maybe pick these vills off, go through the
Yep, good
Palisade
call,
Gate,
good
which
pick.
only has 400 health, so.
It's really the best thing you can do right there is you see an opportunity, take it.
And no villages are close enough here, I think, to,
Yeah, so those that and
It's
that
a
palisade
wall in
wall
time.
should go down
it's
pretty
gonna go
quickly.
down. And sillySeth is moving his entire army backwards to try to deal with that. Allouition dropping a forward castle.
He's gonna have to. Yeah, he has to respond.
And tried to get some house walls up, but it wasn't quite fast enough, and the knights are in the eco.
And they are okay. He's got enough knights here that he's gonna be able to do a lot of damage.
Crossbows
Seth is
will
responding. He's
they're
gonna
also
have
on
some
a hill.
range. Yep, so that's
Seth-
a good angle there. I think he's gonna. Yeah, he's gonna pull back. I think a good move
Allouition's
by
pulled back
Allouition.
completely, but at least Seth now knows like it's knights for Allouition here. He's got knights, so we'll see how he reacts to that. A couple more barracks are down here, but he's also housed. We're just gonna remedy that with a few more house walls. The knights just pulling completely back like that. I was surprised to see a lot of players would just sacrifice them all to get like a couple more villager kills and
Yeah,
call
that's
it
a
good.
safe. I think that's a safe play. He's a, you know, again, he get a little bit of damage. He got those few villagers off the stone, but, you know, but again, I think it's a good idea to just kind of back off there.
As an attack notification comes through, Allouition's monk with relic is under attack. We are informed that he is collecting the relics. He has the map control, so why not just
Yeah, may as well take
spend a little
advantage of
APM
him.
to
Get
get
that
that
by
gold
his
trickle.
base.
Drop in another keep, another castle in the south. Lock down all those golds on his side.
Yeah,
And we do see just nothing but spears now for sillySeth, which I definitely agree with here.
he's committing to this. I appreciate that.
We got spears, we got Chuko New, and Imperial Age clicked at exactly the same time for both players. Allouition maybe slightly quicker, but man, what an interesting matchup here. Seth definitely has the economy to be able to handle this, but that's a lot of knights. Okay, that's a lot of
Yeah.
knights. There'll soon be Paladin, there'll soon be whatever the final thing is. A little spooky. Allouition with battering rams on the way. He knows this castle is here, so
Yeah, so
surprised to
so
see
good.
battering rams this late. Like once you're already going up to Imperial Age, why not just wait for Trebs?
And both players already heading right into that next stage, so they're going to have access to a lot more upgrades that are going to support their units. Plenty of those special
Other
units
archer
out for
on
Seth
here.
right now.
Yeah, I love the Chukanu here. I think they'll do pretty well.
Okay, so so here we go. We're gonna get some poke. There might be enough of them. He's gonna be able to shred through these spearmen and crossbowmen pretty easily.
Also, the knights for Allouition are dying at TC, so sillySeth will win this middle fight. But he's gonna take some damage to the keep here, the castle. So that's not going to be too definitive. This town center going down is pretty painful.
Pikeman responding, yeah, the town center is he's gonna move those villagers. Oh, those villagers are dead. There's no way
moving around to the right. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of villager kills.
Pikemen have to respond right away, and I think Allouition is going to be able to respond to this very easily.
Well, he's definitely going to pull back all these knights. You don't want to just fight the pikemen. I think he could win a fight here, but it wouldn't be economical. As Seth saves 5 vills there. And again, pulls the entire army to the back of his base. That just shows you how effective raiding is, right?
Yeah.
Put like a few knights in the back of your enemy's base. There's a chance they might just pull everything back and abandon whatever aggressive position they have. I'm going to expect to see some trebs here. Throwing axemen actually coming through for the Frank player. Okay. Throwing axemen, Chukanu. Nothing but unique units for these players. No trebuchets. As we have some units garrisoned in this ram, because why not? Almost done with this sandwich, chat. It's close. Gotta eat it before the mayo goes bad. And Seth goes for a rebuild of the TC in the same exact spot. He loves that spot specifically.
Yeah, and are those... But Allouition does have a few of those units nearby. He might see this town center going back up. Does he have vision on it? He's moving back in. Yeah, he's gonna catch this. This is a really good play by him. He's gonna be able to get these.
There are some spears nearby.
He's not enough. I'm not sure. Oh, I wonder if he's going to
Cavalier through. So these are even more upgraded knights, and they will be able to take some pretty convincing fights, even with spearmen from the feudal age or from the castle age. TC goes up, but Allouition just massive units on the back. There's a treb. You generally want to see. Oh, okay, so we do have trebs from these players. They're just trapped behind unique unit production. We generally want to see like 3 trebs at a minimum before you start attacking with them, just because that's about the critical number that you can generally destroy whatever you're targeting, even if it's a castle, before the enemy has time to respond. Some monks for sillySeth will be disappointed to find out that there's only 1 relic left on the map for them to collect.
Yeah, but again, that's a...
We could see some conversions. Monks into Cavalier, if they're microed and in the right positions, will be very effective. Because flipping a Cavalier is like the most like useful thing you can do.
Are those all Knight Cav over there that Allouition has?
Yeah. As far as scouts go,
yeah,
there's 1 scout in this whole mass.
So he's got pikemen, he's got crossbowmen, or those archers crossbowmen. I'm trying to see from my end here.
Yeah, we got kind of a scattering of a lot of things. Mostly we do have crossbows and Cavalier. Probably we'll see Paladin if they have it.
And then what are the Franks special unit? The 2-handed axemen?
Throwing axemen, which generally are kind of a niche unit. I don't think they do very well specifically like in this matchup. There's not really much of a reason to make them other than they're kind of cool. But
Allouition has got plenty of... Right now. Okay, here we go. So Seth is going to respond to this, and we're going to see how Allouition deals with this. Another treb is going to be going down.
Now, if it comes down to a treb fight, I think Allouition will be, he'll have a little bit of a better time because he has mobile units. These paladins.
The horses clear the distance. They're going to be able to go through the special units. Trouble. The question is how is
falling quickly. This might be the decisive final fight here as the Rams move on the second castle.
Yeah, there wasn't enough defense for those. I mean, he had enough.
Looks like
I was going to say
1 treb is gone.
Yeah, but there's all these other units to deal with. Yep, good. I was going to say he was splitting those forces. He's going to have a small section dealing with those villagers. Good call by Allouition to micromanage that.
Some spears coming out, but sillySeth, this is basically all he's got for military, and that's GG.
It. Yep, good call.
And let me go back to that. 36 Cavalier, 36 Halberdier. On 1-on-1, a Cavalier will just win that fight. But hey, it's okay. I need to stop clicking that. Statistics. You know, this is an older game, but it still checks out. You still want to see what's all going on around here. sillySeth again, like kind of behind with the military. He did catch up in the end, but it was just a bad matchup, I think. And also the micro on those Chukanu didn't quite pan out.